Oh, we are back and better than ever. Elijah Campbell, Jack Veltri, live from the scene of the crime. The scene of the crime today here in beautiful Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This place is a palace, Jack Veltri.
Man, it's crazy.
But the scene of the crime today here in Atlanta, a 24-11 win. South Carolina kicking off their season in style. Now, 10-8 going into the fourth quarter. It was starting to look pretty ugly, but South Carolina was able to make plays big enough in that fourth quarter on special teams and offense. And with the defense not giving up a touchdown, that's all they needed to do.
I think this was a really good performance for South Carolina. Obviously, there's a lot to take away, a lot to work on going into the rest of the season. But you got to be happy with the fact that things went okay offensively. I thought the offensive line just wasn't really that good throughout the game. Giving up 4 sacks. I mean, you look back at some of the sacks and it's like, how did South Carolina give up these plays against an ACC defense? And it wasn't even anything crazy that VT was running. It was just simple things. But again, the offense came through when it mattered most. You got special teams to score a touchdown, and your defense held Virginia Tech to 9 points in this game, all on field goals. I think that in itself is a win right there.
That's a huge win. Now, let's start with the offense first. Offensively, that first drive of the game, the scripted drive, could not have gone better. It could not have gone better. You connected on a couple of big passing plays. Brady Hunt found himself open. That was the perfect, tight end is always open guy.
Mo Brown had the first catch of the season.
Mo Brown had the first catch of the season. Took it 20 yards?
Yeah.
You marched down
tight
the
ends
field.
got involved.
12 plays, 75 yards. You averaged about 10.7, I think it's more than 75 yards.
Something like that.
Averaged 10.7 yards per play, according to the stat sheet after that first drive. Methodical. And then it kind of stalled out. I think for about 2.5 quarters, the run game was really stiff. The offensive line didn't get a ton of push, but ultimately late in the game when you needed first downs, Lenore Sellers put the team on his back, broke some tackles, broke out of pockets, able to get first downs. And then, of course, the bomb to Nick Harbor really highlights
everything. Really great play. Yeah, really great play there. I love the way they drew that one up. Obviously, fans have been clamoring for that one for years now since Nick Harbor got it. We have seen glimpses of what Nick can be, and we obviously know the story. He took off track this year to go do spring ball, go through a full summer, and he has 99 yards today. And let's see, he had trying to find out. It's not. Oh,
he had a lot of targets.
He had 7 targets, 3 catches, 99 yards, and a touchdown. He arguably should have had 2. He definitely should have had 2.
Don't get me started.
Don't get me started.
If that was a catch. If that's not a catch, what are we doing here?
I know. Come on.
I get it.
Let's figure it out, guys.
I get you're playing it by the rule. It's a rule problem, okay? I get the officials are going to the rule, which is take control of the ball to the ground. But at the same time, man, if I have a possession of the ball and I get both feet in bounds inside the end zone, that should be it. Whatever happens when I go to the ground shouldn't matter. We'll talk about that a lot starting at 6 a.m. on 107.5 The Game on the early game. But Nick did play really well, and he bounced back from a drop. He did have an atrocious drop early in the game, but he bounced back. He said in the press conference when I asked him that question, that last year he might have pouted. Last year he might have kind of folded a little bit after that play. But he feels so much more prepared this year to take on that offensive role and be the #1 receiver that after a drop, he knew the ball's going to come back his way, and he took full advantage of it. Credit to him for not letting that get to him, and he was able to be incredibly productive at the end of the game and ultimately do what everybody's been waiting from him, which is burn somebody deep down the sideline for 6 points. I think that was the highlight a lot of people are going to remember.
Great play from today. And also, I think the highlight of the day has to be Bakari Swain and his punt return touchdown. Now, for those who missed it, VT at the beginning of the fourth quarter did go ahead and punt, but an illegal formation was called, and so VT was forced to repunt. And Shane Beamer did say after the game, the worst thing that can happen is that a team has to repunt because nothing good ever comes of that. And of course, Bakari Swain takes it to the house, 57 yards, his signature moment as a South Carolina Gamecock.
It made a couple dudes miss, broke a tackle, dives in the end zone. I love, though, the confidence for Shane Beamer to end up, because they were going to get decent field position. I think they would have gotten the ball around the 30. Would have been decent field position as I try not to get run over by the cutters of the fake grass.
But anyway.
They would have gotten decent field position, but to be able to say, hey, look, I got confidence in this guy. Not just confidence in Bakari Swain. It's not like Bakari ran a couple of kicks, 15, 20 yards down the field. The second to last time we saw him out in the field, he dropped a punt. Muffed a punt.
He did.
And it didn't look pretty. The confidence to send him back out there and Bakari to be able to take advantage and make magic happen is absolutely remarkable. And it was 10-8 at that point. South Carolina was giving Virginia Tech every single chance imaginable to get back in the game. And Virginia Tech, just didn't take it. And then Vicari Swain basically said, all right, I'm tired of this. Let me dial up a house call here. And that was the difference. That was really when you saw a real shift. Now, Virginia Tech kicked a field goal later, but then the Nick Harbor touchdown really put it out of reach. But that was when I felt like all the Gamecock faithful and these the stands here behind us could finally breathe a little easier when they finally got that touchdown to make it a 2-score game after it was so tight for 2.5 quarters.
And to kind of wrap up 3 phases of the football in this game, the defense. Again, we talk about Vicari's play being the game changer in this one, which it was, and then you had Nick Harbor's touchdown, which really broke the game open and kind of gave South Carolina the extra nudge that it needed to win this game. But I mean, the defense really did come through in this game. Like, say what you will about the secondary, they were not great today. I think they gave 5 plays of 25 yards or more through the air.
Gave up a few explosives.
So they did not win the one-on-ones as much as they would like, and that it is what it is. And I think that group's going to be better throughout the year. And obviously, we'll see what happens with Judge Coyer and when he's going to be back. Shane Beamer did say he's going to be TBD for right now.
It's a big injury to keep an eye on.
Big injury right there for one of your starters in the secondary. I will say though, as this game wore on, Virginia Tech stayed out of the end zone in this game, and they had to be held to 3 field goals. A lot of that had to do with the pressure that I think the guys brought. Like, the linebackers were solid in this game. J.R. Johnson,
awesome.
I know he had the mistake with the interception going out of the end zone and all that, but
he picked the ball off. He still picked the ball off.
He made up for it with 10 tackles, 1 pass breakup, and of course the interception on the day. Peyton Williams had an interception to kind of seal it later on, and also just the sacks by Dylan Stewart and JT Gear, really huge in this game. Again, I think the defense, for all it's worth, it may not be last year, but this group is definitely capable of being pretty good this year.
I mean, it's a pretty good statement to come out here and keep a team out of the end zone entirely and only give up 9 points in the entire game. J.R. Johnson's the big one that I'm glad you touched on, but Dylan Stewart too. He only had the 1 sack, but he constantly was making
and he was being
drones.
held sometimes.
He was being held, and he's getting double teamed. But despite all that, Dylan Stewart so frequently in this game forced Kyron Drones out of the pocket, and that was a big difference maker. Kyron Drones,
he was a star.
Normally an accurate intermediate passer, had a couple of incompletions later in the game where you could tell he had to step up in the pocket and be uncomfortable. And that's because guys like Dylan Stewart, JT Gear, Brian Thomas Jr. had a couple of those plays too. The South Carolina edge rushers, especially led by Dylan Stewart, really made Kyron Drones' life miserable for a good chunk of this game.
But overall, I think you feel pretty satisfied with this game. Again, at the end of the day, you're 1-0. You got SC State next week. You should win that game. Again, everything for South Carolina is still at play after this first week in the year. You're going to get better as the year goes along, I think. I think the defense is going to grow more and more confident, especially after a performance like this. That's huge. I think Lenore Sellers is going to be better. I think they're going to really incorporate more of him moving around the pocket, improvising. He had a big play on 4th down today that kind of sealed the game for good. It was like a 4th and 3. He scrambles out to the left. He gets the first down to seal it with like 2 minutes left. Again, he was very good today. I think the run game needs to be a little bit better. O-line, they got to pick it up. I mean, it's put up a shut-up time in year 3 here with Lonnie Teasley. But I think overall, if I had to give an overall grade on this game for South Carolina, I give it like maybe a B. I think a B is a fair rating. They did their job today, and they got the win.
And we have so much to get to. We only got to cover just a smidge of it, but starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow, myself, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen on the early game from 6 to 9. Tons of reaction. My man Jack Veltri and Tyler Head coming on right after it, 9 to 11, all the way up until 6 p.m. We're live tomorrow. I hope you have the day off. We don't, but we're here for you to give you all of our reaction and your reaction too. So don't forget to call 803-444-6100 to the AAA Heating and Air phone lines, or you can hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line. And of course, my coverage here in Atlanta, brought to you by Tilly's Warehouse in 5 Points, an incredible liquor store where you're able, wine and spirit store in a very convenient part of town. Tilly Warehouse, thank you to them for being able to allow me to come here in this beautiful cathedral of a football stadium in Atlanta. Tilly Warehouse will also be sponsoring my takes for tomorrow as well. So don't forget to hit them up. And for your next game day activity, tailgate, watch party, hit up Tilly's Warehouse in 5 Points.
Absolutely.
Get you everything you need. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Jack Veltri. We've been live here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, aka the scene of the crime.
Let the folks see it.
Let's see.
Let's see it.
Oh, and look at this cool thing up here. Look at this. Look at the circular scoreboard.
It's sick.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah,
Being down here
awesome.
is pretty cool. Preston Thorne's gonna like the Dirty Bird.
Yeah.
But man,
Good
fun
time out
afternoon,
here, man.
Fun afternoon, live from the scene of the crime. Elijah Campbell, Jack Veltri. We'll talk to you bright and early tomorrow. Enjoy the win, Gamecock fans.